Buffy the Vampire Slayer. A series that shook the very foundations of the fantasy horror genre on the small screen and raised the bar for all that came after it. From its humble beginnings, Buffy grew into an extraordinary tale of epic proportions, brimming with imaginative world building and complex character development that still captivates audiences today. The show's stunning ability to combine humour, drama and horror seamlessly is a testament to its creators and talented cast, who breathed life into each and every character. Despite the glory of the show, there are a few episodes I feel don't get the appreciation they deserve, and are often misunderstood and overlooked. Out of Mind, Out of Sight is often on the receiving end of this undeserved criticism, despite its remarkable portrayal of loneliness and the effect it can have on the human psyche. The episode opens with Buffy crashing into Cordelia and spilling her weapons all over the corridor. Buffy nervously rambles as Cordelia and crew exchange their usual venom.
She is always hanging with that creepy librarian in that creepy library.
So many of us know what it's like to feel rejected by the so-called popular kids in school, and Buffy's expression perfectly encapsulates this, along with her longing for the life that she had before being called. I would also like to give props to this extra here, who seems to be the only student that seems concerned about all the weaponry Buffy is carting around school. Brilliant. During class, Cordelia's need to be centre of attention is shown here by her somewhat controversial views regarding the Merchant on Venice, and the way she compares it to an incident where she hit someone with her car.
Like this time I sort of ran over this girl on her bike. It was the most traumatizing event of my life, and she's trying to make it about her leg.
We get our first glimpse of Marcie, in the form of a floating bat, as she lays into Mitch in a desperate attempt for attention. We then cut to Cordelia handing out chocolates with a dash of insults as part of her campaign to become May Queen.
Oh, I don't think I need the loony fringe vote.
Willow and Xander have a conversation about Cordelia that only they truly understand,
Fun that we're speaking in tongues.
adding to Buffy's feeling of isolation that comes from not only being the Slayer, but by being the new kid in school. Buffy is still trying to figure out where she fits in Sunnydale High, as well as handling the weight of the world on her shoulders. It's at this point we learn that in Buffy's pre-Slayer days, she was living a somewhat similar life to Cordelia's, and that the burden of her calling has her missing what she used to be. Cordelia in this episode is definitely the what if for Buffy, and I feel this episode is a precursor to a conversation they would share in Season 3 episode Homecoming. The story of Mitch getting attacked travels around the school, and Willow pulls a clever distraction on Snyder so that Buffy can check out the crime scene.
What did you say? Mitch was gonna sue the school?
Sue? Who?
Ironically, the word luck is painted on the lockers. A perfectly timed flashback occurs,
What do you want?
and Harmony is pushed down the stairs, which, and don't hate me for saying this, I actually found really funny, as I could not stand Harmony as a human.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
A creepy laugh leads Buffy to the music room, but due to our assailant being invisible, Buffy misses them hiding in the ceiling. We get our first proper look of the... I'll come back to them later, and the Scoobies put 2 and 2 together and come up with Cordelia.
Mitch, the common denominator is...
Cordelia.
That night, Buffy guards Cordelia, and we get another look into the life that Buffy is secretly missing. This is a wonderful insight into some of the sacrifices Buffy has had to make since becoming the Chosen One, and again Sarah Michelle Gellar's face speaks volumes. A beautiful piece of flute music rings out around the school, leading up to a wonderful statement from Angel to Giles about the privilege of having a reflection.
To possess.
I don't know. Looking in the mirror every day and seeing nothing there.
Another flashback occurs, and we see Marcie for the very first time. This scene perfectly depicts how lonely high school can be. Buffy returns to the music room and discovers that Marcie has been living in the ceiling. The way the space is set up would suggest that she has been living there since her disappearing act. Upon finding her yearbook, you can see Buffy's empathy for everything she is going through. Buffy also catches up with the viewers at this point as well.
So does you.
After Miss Miller gets attacked, Marcie tells Cordelia to listen, and the gang comes to terms with the fact that Marcie has been living an extremely solitary and friendless life.
Have a nice summer. This girl had no friends at all.
Even Willow and Xander had no idea who she was, which I found a little strange as they were probably the most two approachable students in the school. Giles has a eureka moment and deducts that Marcie's loneliness on a quantum mechanical level, along with the mystical qualities of the Hellmouth, caused her to literally become how she was feeling.
I think I speak for everyone here when I say, huh?
Cordelia asks, well, she begs, the Scoobies for help as she realises that the attacks revolve around her.
This is all about me. Me.
Wow, for once she's right.
Buffy and Cordelia share an insightful conversation about the loneliness she feels.
I can be surrounded by people and be completely alone. I don't even know if they like me half the time.
This, to me anyway, is the first time in the series we see the true Cordelia, and is the first step into becoming the version of herself we would all fall in love with. Giles, Willow and Xander are trapped by Marcie in a room that is rapidly filling with gas. It is to get them out of the way while she hatches the final stages of her revenge. Both Cordelia and Buffy are kidnapped and then taken to the Bronze, and the last word is revealed. Marcie's loneliness has really driven her insane, and she's using Cordelia, being the most popular girl in school, as her lesson. As Angel saves the gang from their impending suffocation, Buffy takes one of Marcie's lessons on board and starts to listen. The Men in Black burst in and claim to be the FBI. And there is a revelation that Marcie isn't the first child to go invisible.
It's happened at other schools.
The end scene is us witnessing Marcie join a class of other invisible children as they learn to be assassins, which, as good as this episode is, I found extremely weird. Out of Mind, Out of Sight is a true gem. It marks a significant turning point in Cordelia's character development and masterfully captures the profound loneliness that often plagues adolescents.
I just want to say thank you.
It's funny because she looks like Cordelia.
The portrayal of Marcie's ever-deteriorating mental state was excellent. Of course, this episode is not without its faults. While the flashbacks effectively demonstrate Marcie's social exclusion, it would have been more impactful if they had delved deeper into the consequences of her isolation and showed her struggling to connect with other students, as well as the popular kids. Additionally, the creators missed a trick here with the FBI agents. When the initiative showed up in season 4, I half expected Marcie to come into play again, and there to be revealed that the agents were in fact an early form of the government's dive into the mystical world. Sadly, that wasn't the case, and Marcie was forgotten about again. Nonetheless, I hold this episode in high regard for what it is. It is a testament to the early days of the Buffy universe, and I feel it is unfairly criticised. Despite its imperfections, Out of Mind, Out of Sight remains a thought-provoking addition to the series that deserves to be appreciated. And that's it. What are your thoughts on this episode? Am I alone in the appreciation for what the creators were trying to achieve? What episode would you like me to break down next? Thank you for making it to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.